to the day that the Golden Cage goes live. This is opening day, opening streaming day, premiere day for the Golden Cage. I am Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as DHC. Hopefully you can hear me well, but if you can't, let me know, because I am streaming to a bunch of different channels, and some of them you can stream back to me. You can chat back to me. If you're on YouTube, I don't think you can chat, but if you are on the other channels, you will be able to. So do let me know if you're hearing me. So here's what's happening today. Well, I'm a composer, I'm a performer, I play the electric harp. I write musical theater. I've been writing musical theater my whole life, ever since I was a little tiny kid. Really, it was like the stories with music has been the thing that has always been my big passion. And when I was about 19, I started thinking of this story. This story just like popped into my head when I was sitting at my piano one day, and I was thinking about the question of, is my life going to be a life of security or a life of freedom? I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute, because that became a musical. That question actually became two different characters that were both me. Today, that musical, for the first time in the world, is going to be streaming live. Everyone is going to be able to see it. It popped out of my head. I spent forever creating it as a musical. Amazing people have performed it, and I'm going to show you more about it. I'm going to talk more about it because I'm going to be here until it's time to go and have the Zoom meeting at the beginning. So here's what's going to happen today. I've written this musical. It was produced in New York City last year. We filmed it. We spent the year editing it and adding amazing enhancements to the sound. And today it is going to go live on YouTube. You can RSVP to be part of it, to actually connect with me. And you can also see the show at goldencagemusical.com. I tried to put all the links into the post that goes along with this, but I have no idea whether I really was able to do that or not. I'm also here to oh, hello. I'm getting questions and I love it. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, beautiful. Okay. All right. So I can see your comments, and so if you're there, let me know if you have questions or if you're excited about this. So here's what happened. I'll just tell you a little bit of the story of the Golden Cage. So when I'm 19, I'm sitting there at my piano, and I'm thinking about my life. And I'm thinking, like, is my life going to be a life where I'm searching for security or where I'm searching for freedom? And suddenly the two parts of this question, it's like they pop out of my head. And there's like A and there's B. So there's two characters, and they're on either side of a cage, and they're singing. Let's see if I can even sing this to you. I'm not sure if I can. Let me see. If I can do this. Okay. No, 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 no. They're singing, here I am in my golden cage, growing thin, growing pale. There you are on the outside, looking in. Here I am in my suit of mail, so secure and so pure. There you are on the outside looking in. So there's one character who's on the inside looking out at the other character who's on the outside. The one on the outside is saying, here I am at your palace gate in a state of despair. There you are on the inside looking out. What a fate, what a tragedy, how ungodly, unfair, how I'd give my life to be there on the inside looking out. So in my mind, this idea of having security and having freedom, it became one person on the inside of a cage and another person on the outside of the cage. And because my brain thinks in musicals, boom, it started being a musical. Then the two of them sang together. There on the inside, outside, where you stand, all that glitters in your hand. So that was the first song that I wrote for this musical. And when you come to see it tonight, you will hear Chris Isolano and Maddie Allen singing it. It's amazing to just watch them sing it and how fun it is and what happens at the end of the song. But that's what started for me. So I had this question, am I going to have a life of security or a life of freedom? Became two characters, A and B, one on the inside, one on the outside. A and B started becoming alpha and beta, and then they became Althea and Boris. And to each of these characters, this cage is experienced completely differently. So, and I'm saying she and he, but in fact, the play is created in such a way that it can be cast with any gender, race, age, body type. It doesn't matter. It's an allegory for life. It's not about a specific, I mean, it's about every one of our specific experiences, but it's also about a universal experience. So this is the thing that's really interesting. Well, there's a lot that's interesting about the show, but from the inside, Althea is on the inside. From the inside, the cage looks, feels, and acts as if it is created out of granite and iron. There's no way for her to get out. It is inescapable. From the outside, the way Boris sees it, it is desirable. He can't even, it's irresistible. It's beautiful. It's made of gold, the softest iron. So it not only looks different to each of them on either side of the cage, it actually acts differently. So on the outside, Boris thinks, well, she must be crazy because I can see that it's, you can get out like this. But from the inside, you actually can't. All right, I'm going to go. Oh, hello, Stefan. I'm really looking forward to you coming to the musical. I saw that you signed up for it. We had a lot of people sign up. We had about 2,000 people sign up, and I'm really excited. I know that not everyone can come tonight, but I'm hoping that many of you can come because it is so fun to come to a YouTube premiere. I went to a YouTube premiere of another musical on Streaming Musicals, and it was just so fun because what Streaming Musicals does as a network is they bring people closer than the front row. They literally bring you onto the stage. So they're not pretending like, hello, this is reality. It's like, hello, this is theater. This is theater, and it's alive, and you are on the stage with the characters. So that's what you're going to experience. The fun thing about a premiere is that you can actually, you're watching with everybody at the same time, and everyone's at the same, like everyone's seeing the same part of the show at the same time. So you can see people's comments come in. If you're actually on YouTube, you can see people commenting as they're watching the show, which is really, really wonderful. So let's see, what am I saying here? Replying. Oh, goody. So my team is with me tonight, and I'm so excited. Diane and Renzel and Tala are all with me, and then Chris, one of the stars of the show, he's going to be with us tonight at the Zoom Q&A. So there's this whole live component of this. I put all of that in the posts, and I hope that you can see that. We're streaming on LinkedIn, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Facebook all at the same time. And if you could just let me know whether you can actually see those links. One of the things I want you to do is to go sign up for the pre and post show Q&A. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a Zoom room. My fingers are crossed here. We're going to go to a Zoom room. I'm actually getting scared when I think about that. But we're going to go to a Zoom room. And like I said, a lot of people signed up. We're going to go to a Zoom room. And in that Zoom room, we're just going to talk before the show. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the show. I'm going to show you some behind the scenes pictures. I'm going to show you just a couple of things so that you get, that you get first dibs on looking at the show. Then we'll watch the show. And then after the show, we come back to the same Zoom room where we can have a Q&A after the show. So a couple of other things that I want to make sure that you know about that I think are really fun. One of the things is that we set up a way for you to leave reviews. So you can leave a video review, and I put that link up here, and you can leave a written review. And I would just so love to hear what you have to say about the show and what the show makes you think of. After the show, in the following weeks, we have a whole series of things planned that are called Unlocking the Golden Cage, where we go look at the themes that are in the show, because there are very powerful themes of isolation, of perception, of how ambition can blind us, how we can be trapped both inside and outside of what we long for. There's so many different themes in this show. I'm going to see. Oh, thank you, Tala. So one of the things that has been amazing about this show, I've started writing it when I was 19. So the themes were I was thinking about the themes my whole life, but I was mostly just thinking about, oh, how am I going to finish it? And I ended up playing the harp, and the harp became this huge adventure in my life. And so there was this kind of a little bit of heartache, because I loved this show so much, and I've wanted to tell this story my whole life, no joke. And at the same time, I started playing the harp. It's a longer story. I'll tell you about it. It's actually in my upcoming TEDx talk, how I ended up having to live both sides of this story, really live Althea's life and live Boris's life in order to understand how to tell the end of the story. But if you look at the harp right now, you can see that it looks like a wing. And in fact, one of the things that happened to me in my life is that I discovered that I feel very free with the harp. The harp became my wings. And that was how I was able to experience the life of Boris. And you'll see him in the show. At the same time, there was this part of me that felt like I wasn't really living. I wasn't able to tell this one story that was so important to me. And that part felt stuck. So I've been living these two all my life. And one of the things that's really amazing now that the show is out there and people are watching it, and I'm having conversations with people about it, is that it is literally now creeping into my therapy sessions, because there's so many things in this show that allow me to talk about experiences that I never knew how to talk about. So I find now that I can say to my therapist, well, right now it's like I'm at that point where Althea goes off the cliff, but at the same time, I'm also at the point where she's playing the trumpet. So like I'm experiencing these two things. And because the show is out there, my therapist actually able to talk to me about this, and we're able to use the show. I didn't mean the show should, was going to be like, well, I'm going to write this show and it's going to be my way to find my way to mental health. That wasn't my intention. But one of the things that's really interesting about a powerful allegory like this show is that it does make it possible to talk about things that there is no other language for. And this was really difficult for me as a child, because I had these questions, deep, powerful, very dramatic questions about life. And I didn't know how to ask the questions, because when I asked the questions, they sounded so simplistic that I got really unhelpful answers. So one of the things that is important to me about this show is that it can be watched by multi-generational audiences. The music is sophisticated, the ideas are sophisticated, the acting is amazing. So for adults, and the allegory and the universality is really powerful. So for adults, it's really interesting. And it makes, when I've worked with adults with it, they're like, oh, I see where I'm stuck. And, it opens up a lot of possibilities. But for younger people, it provides a way to talk about some of these, I guess you would call them mental health aspects. And this wasn't intentional at all. It was simply because that's what I was dealing with in my life. And so these two characters took on the characteristics, and then they played out this. They played this out because it was the only way I knew how to do it. And it was the only way I knew how to give voice to it. So anybody got any questions so far about, I know you haven't seen the show yet, and it's a little bit difficult to have questions about it, but I can say that when we've done pre-screening events, one of the things that happens is that people often have like a favorite part of the show, a part of the show that is like kind of kicks you in the gut. It's like, oh, that's where I'm stuck in my life, or oh, that's where I'm stuck in my life, or oh. So Whoops. Uh-oh, I just lost you guys. I'm gonna come back. Okay. But you know what I want to do? I want to try something. So for everybody who's here right now, I want to make sure that you, first of all, RSVP so that you can come tonight. Go tell your friends. It's going to be free today, and I think they're going to be able to stream it for about 24 hours for free. And here's how you can do that. I'm going to see if I can actually get onto the website and show you how to do this, because it's really very cool how you can share the show. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to goldencagemusical.com, and hopefully I won't share anything else on my screen that you shouldn't be seeing. Okay, good. Here we go. So we've actually adapted the page. We've adapted the main page today so that you can literally just scroll right down here, and in an hour and a half, this, I hope, is going to turn into the streaming theater. This also lets you donate to the film. One of the things you can do is to share it, is to come over here and you can share directly onto Facebook, onto your Facebook, and it sets it up and gives people a link, which is wonderful. So it just makes it very easy. You can share via email, via Twitter, by LinkedIn, by Pinterest, by, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's WhatsApp. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. So Facebook. All right. Okay, great. And I think there's some others that you can share by, like all of these as well. So it's pretty friendly for doing that. This is a page. I'm hoping you guys are seeing this, and you can see our awards for Best Musical Score, Best Actor, Most Innovative Production. The other cool things about this page, aside from the fact that this is indeed where you can see the show, we've got a couple places you can see the show. You can see it here. There's also a secret page that you'll get to if you RSVP, and you can also go direct to YouTube. This is the trailer, which is really fun. Here's what people are saying about the show, which is exciting to read. And this is a really wonderful, wonderful review that we got when we did a concert at the end of last year. So you should definitely go see what Remy has to say about the show. Here you can see some really great photos. The show is just, the costumes are wonderful. They're magnificent, and the photos are great. I want to point out a couple things here. I'm hoping that you're seeing these. So if you're not, please, since I don't know what you guys are seeing. Oh, so Stefan said, I will watch it later, past midnight in my time zone now. Okay. Or Stefan, you could go have some coffee and come back. But whatever you do is great. I'm not actually suggesting that. Beautiful. I'm so glad you came and said hello. All right. So, am I sharing my screen? Oh, I meant to say, Stefan, it was so great for you to pop in. It was great to see you. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about it. Kim said, we can see the website. Yay, Kim. Now, Kim is someone who not only has been to many of the streaming of we had to do a bunch of pre-streams because we were editing the sound and adding orchestration, which you're going to hear, and it's so beautiful. So we did many preliminary screenings, and Kim was one of the people who came not only to those screenings, but Kim was also at the original live show. Not anymore. Oh, no, you can't see anymore. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to show you the website again. Thank you. So, all right, I'm going to bring you back here to the Golden Cage Musical. And, right, so I'm going to scroll you down. Oh, I'm hoping you can see the photos. Here's just some of that. We had two really great photographers. One of the things that's really fun to watch in the show is that you can sometimes see the audience heads. There's a few little secret things that you can sometimes see. These costumes are really amazing. Every one of Althea wears a lot of wigs, and both Althea and Boris wear these, different headdress things. All of her wigs were made by Evan Prezant out of cardboard, and they're really spectacular. All his costumes are spectacular, and the set design is so innovative. It's so meaningful based on the show, on the meaning of the show. It was incredible to watch these designers come in and invent another layer of meaning to the show. Here's another scene with Althea and Boris. Here's the one I talk about in my therapy sessions a lot. And here's Althea with her sword, which I believe we may get to see that sword tonight. And here's a really beautiful picture of Boris. And this is one of my favorite pictures. It reminds me of the Beauty and Beast fairy book. I hope you guys are seeing this. I don't know. And I also wanted to point out, if you are seeing them, the background, what you see that looks like it's painted on the set was actually projections. And they were also incredibly innovative. And our brilliant director worked with the projectionists to come up with a true fairy tale feel for all of this. It was just amazing to experience all of this. So as you go down the page more, you get to read more quotes from people, you get to read more about it, and then you also get to donate. And right now we have a really, really fun, what do you call it? So it's a donation campaign. It's a fundraising campaign. And there's these really wonderful perks there. I'm not going to jump there because I think it'll take you off the page. Don't think you'll see it, but make sure that you check that out because it's really fun. And if you happen to have $100,000, you can become an executive producer. And I don't mean that in a joking way, because that actually did happen in the last project that I did, that someone came in and executive, they became a partner with me in the project, which was really beautiful. And here's our, this is supposed to go at the, I just realized this happened. We have a longer list. This is who's who in the cast, which you get to see when you're at the website. You can go look at all of them. And then at the bottom here is our special thanks, which apparently is doubled, but I can change that later. All these amazing people who have given and made this project possible. Really incredible. And I probably should put a donation link at the bottom of there too. And this list is growing and growing and growing. It's just so powerful and wonderful that people are giving to this project. And it's live theater, so there are costs associated with it. All right, so Kim said, I'm excited to see the final product, and I can't imagine how you must be feeling at this point. So happy for you to see your lifelong project. I'm just going to pull this up because this is a beautiful thing that Kim said. It is amazing. Just if you can imagine having a story inside your head that you want to tell, but it's not that it's a secret and you're not allowed to tell it. It's just that you don't know how to tell it. You've tried, like every time I would create a new version of the show, I would tell the story, but there were always holes in the story. And people always had really fundamental questions about it. And that's what took so long to be able to answer those fundamental questions. And that's what my upcoming TEDx talk is about, is, what were those questions and how did I go about answering them and what did I discover in doing it? Let me come back to the captions now. I'm going to stay here until 6:30 when we're all going to go to the Zoom room. Let's see, here we go. Let's save and show this. Okay, great. All right, I want to do one other thing because we just discovered this yesterday. We discovered that we can bring up this code. So you can get out your phones and use and put them on that QR code that's here on the right. The QR code up to the left will take you to the page where you can watch the show. But the QR code down here that says support the Golden Cage on the right, that will take you direct to where you can make a donation. All right, so I'm going to leave that up for a little while and come to the chat. Aha. Oh, what's this? Deborah, check support the Golden Cage at. Okay, I don't hope. Okay, cool. All right, so let me think. What questions do you have about the show? All right, I know what I'd love to talk about. One of the really cool perks in the fundraising is something called the Golden Cage Journal. And It's a project that I created together with writer Mary Robinson, where we went through. I wonder if I can show it to you, because that would be kind of cool. I'm going to see if I can find it. It might take me a second here to do that. Okay, because it's on Google Drive. It's always tricky to find stuff on Google Drive. Journal. Oh, cool. Okay. Is it fun for you guys when I show you stuff? I'm gonna assume that that's a yes, and I'm going to share this with you. So what we wanted to do with this journal, because there's so much that the story opens up. And so two of the things that we're doing coming forward in Unlocking the Golden Cage is interviews where I'm talking to people who have seen the show. And we already have a bunch of people all lined up. People who in very interesting professions, to talk about the themes that show up in the show, the themes of isolation, the themes of how ambition can isolate us, many other different kinds of themes that I realize now are facets of mental health. And they may be facets of depression, they may be facets of workaholism, they may be facets of just of being an artist, which, by the way, seems to be some kind of mental and oh, I'm hearing somebody talk. Whoops. Wait a second, you guys. Are you? Wait. Will you get? Oh, wait. It did. YouTube link. You guys. Hey, you guys. I can. We can hear you. Wait. Okay. My team back at headquarters. Everybody, we can hear you. So I'm trying to figure out how we can do this. I wonder how I can not hear you on the, because I know you guys need to talk to each other. You can talk now because, well, everybody knows that headquarters is back here. I wonder how. Oh, I know. You can go to breakout rooms. You can make a breakout room to go to together. And then you guys can talk to each other. Let me do this. Let me try to. Oh, I'm not the host anymore. Diane is. So Diane, if you can make a breakout room, everybody can go to the breakout room. Then you can talk to your heart's content. And meanwhile, I'll come. Sorry, you guys. We didn't think through this part. And if you need me to jump back in, I can. Or I can jump off. Why don't I jump off? And then you can ask me to come back in if you need me to come back in. Okay? And everybody who's on the live stream, I'm talking to my team. So, okay. No, I'll just leave. And then I can, oh, I just got kicked out. I was removed from the meeting. All right, so back on Restream. Hello, everybody. I'm going to go over there and close this. Yeah, that was behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. It's been really amazing to put together. I'm going to jump over there and close the window, even though, oh, it's such a beautiful light right now, though. I'll leave it open just for a minute. Putting this all together has been amazing. And one of the things I did that was, I thought, brilliant, was that I asked the stage manager from the live show to come in, that's Tala Munsterman, and ask them to come in and be the virtual stage manager for this one. And it was brilliant because even though we're online, even though, we're not in a theater, actually getting, things to line up. And even though we have these amazing collaborators of streaming musicals, my brain doesn't work to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. I'll be right back. I'm going to close that window. And you can practice using your the QR codes while I'm gone. I'll be right back. Have to unplug. If you are wondering why I'm not playing the harp, it is because I started writing this show before I played the harp seriously. And so what you are seeing in the golden cage is you're actually seeing a different vocabulary of me, a creative vocabulary. All right. So I'm going to take a quick look. I notice there's some of you staying here, and I would love to hear if you have any questions. I'm also going to take a quick look I'm just going to check my email because I'm still monitoring questions and I'm making sure that everything is coming in. Okay, good. Great. All right. Okay, yeah, so I want to show you Althea and Boris's journal and what it's like, because it's one of the perks of the fundraising campaign. And so let's take a quick look at that. All right. Going to share. No, wait. Oh, here we go. So right now it exists in, Google Docs, but you'll be able to download it. And it says, welcome Golden Cage Explorers. This is the first edition of this 2-part journal. So I am imagining, I wonder if there's a way for me to be, whoops, that's not what I wanted to show you. I'm wondering if there's a way for me to be beside this so that you can see me and, okay, kind of. Let me see, let me pull this down. QR code, let's see if I can get that off. Hide that. Huh. Okay, so you can kind of see that. All right, at least you can sort of see what it is. All right, so you can see part of it. So what's cool about it is, well, first of all, we have Althea's journal here. You can actually see Althea writing in her journal, and you'll see her in the show doing that. And then we have prompts. So in the beginning, you're literally seeing as if you picked up Althea's journal or her diary and you were seeing what she wrote in it. And then what happens after that are journal prompts. So she's talking about this Birdman who comes and talks about this sacred quest. And then the journal prompt is, what is a sacred quest? Have you ever felt you were on one or wanted to be on one or pushed into making one? Did you start your life with a sacred quest or a secret quest and then forget what it was? So you then will add into this journal, and it goes through the show and Althea's experience through the show. And then there are 12 different prompts for her that really open up what happens in the show for her. And then coming down here, this is Boris's journal. And the second set of 12 opens up his experience. Now I'm saying her and his, but in fact, the characters can be played by any gender, any race, any age, any body type. And it's been really interesting as I work on the show to have that as a convention, because it helped me open up many times to look at what is their relationship to each other. Were they brother and sister? Were they the same person? I mean, obviously they're the same person because they're both me, because it came out of this one question. But was at one point I was like, oh, was Althea Boris's mother? Wait, and then there was one version of the show in which there was this mysterious bird stranger person who came, and Boris heard about the cage from this mysterious bird stranger person, and I was like, oh, is Althea the mysterious bird stranger person? So when something comes out of your imagination, don't always know exactly what it is. It can take a while before you figure out what it actually is. So let's just take a little look at some of Boris's questions. I find both of their questions really fascinating. Where are we? But his are especially fascinating to me because he's such a happy, kind of go-lucky person, and then does something that is quite evil. And yet that evil thing that he does ends up creating something really wonderful. So I don't know, it's just really fascinating to me to look at Boris and in terms of looking at myself. But here's one of his prompts. I'm going to just read to you. So one of the lines in the show that happens a couple times was, "My father sang the tales to me every night when I was small, of those who left to find the cage, returned in shame or not at all. And snug inside our little nest, my mind inflamed with cage and quest, I swore I'd be the one to prove the myth was true, that I would find the golden cage." And then in his journal, he says, "And I hover before you today." I love collaborating on this with another writer, because we both go in and write things, and I see that Mary just added something that's really wonderful, that he's saying, "I hover before you today to say that I have found the inimitable golden cage, that I have proved my young self right. Oh, and also that I have proved my father and all the rest of them right, of course." And it's emotional for me as I read these things, because I didn't realize how much they reveal of me and my life. And as I engage in it, it reveals more. So the journal prompt is, think about the generational stories that pass down to you, the things you take for granted as valuable or impossible, the great uncle who made a fortune or lost a fortune, a grandmother who discovered a brilliant cure or had that cure stolen from her. What story from your family made you ache or cringe or angry or desperate to put things right? How is that story at play in your own life today? Is it empowering you or enslaving you? And how would you know? So one of the things that happened when I was working on the Golden Cage is that every time I would do a reading of it, let's see, can I come back here? No. How about, no. Oh dear, how do I get me back? Oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, so picture him, but that's not me. That's, haha. Okay, so one of the things that happened, and you'll hear about this in my TEDx talk, which is coming out probably the end of May, my second TEDx talk. One of the things that happened is we would do readings of the show. And every time we would do a reading of the show, people would be like, "Oh, I love the music, but I don't get it. Like, how come this and how come that? And how come she does this and how come he does that?" And one of the things that people always said was like, "Why is a bird looking for a cage? I mean, like, why is a bird looking for a cage?" And I knew that this bird person was looking for a cage, but I didn't know how to explain why. And so one of the things that I did as I was working on the show is I went and I worked with a dramaturg. And a dramaturg is somebody who helps playwrights untangle their ideas. And I was sick of people saying this to me. And so I said to the dramaturg, "Will you tell me, why is this bird person looking for a cage?" And he said, "Well, you will know that by knowing his backstory. And you're going to know his backstory by looking at your own backstory. What are the stories that you were told?" And that's not what backstory doesn't mean, the stories, but like, what's the behind? And so I started looking at some of the things that I just sort of accepted in my life. And I hadn't realized, exactly how they fit. Like, my mother was this amazing performer who was never really appreciated, who was never really discovered, who was in a sense like hidden. And so she had all this longing to be out there with this amazing talent, and yet she was hidden. And my grandmother, whose father forbade her from being a performer. And so it's almost as if I was born with the desire to play an instrument, to play and sing, because for me, that's one of the easiest things that I can do. It is my natural language to be playing an instrument and singing the words. And somehow, when I'm singing and playing, it's easier to say what I mean. And the meaning has more resonance, because singing and playing and stories with music is my first language. And so it makes perfect sense that I play the harp, because it's the perfect storytelling instrument. And because it has so much resonance, and it lets my hands sing, and it lets me feel that I'm flying. It is the perfect companion for a life of creative expression, a life of telling stories. And yet, I also always longed to hear other people, to hear my stories in the voices and the bodies and the actions of other people. And it's so marvelous for me. So I had to go back and look at the backstory. What was my backstory? Where did I feel stuck? Why was I looking for something that maybe others would think, why is she looking for that? And when I did that, I began to realize that Boris also had stories, generational stories. And that's something that I hadn't known in the beginning. And because of that question, because I went and I talked to a dramaturg and I asked, why would a bird person be searching for a cage? And then the dramaturg said, go look at your own things that maybe you're trying to do that don't make sense to other people. Where did they come from? And that's when I heard Boris singing. My father sang the tales to me every night when I was small, of those who left to find the cage, returned in shame or not at all. And snug inside our little nest, my mind inflamed with cage and quest, I swore I'd be the one to prove the myth was true, that I would find the golden cage, the sweet elusive glory of a place where you belong, the sacred quest, da-da-da-dee, the hallowed ground, where all the life you've lost is found. The golden cage. And so it was by looking back at what Boris might have been told as a child that helped me understand, why would a flying creature be searching for a cage? And then that theme became even more important as I started looking at it in terms of the other character as well. Let me go back. I can see there's some comments here. It's 6 p.m. Oh, okay. 30 minutes before we have to go to switch the Zoom room. Okay, fabulous. All right, so I'm going to pull up that QR code again because I think it's cool. And it lets you donate to the project. And one of the donation things that you get is at one of the perk levels, you get that journal, which is really wonderful. At another one of the perk levels, you get the original recording based off of what you're going to hear tonight. So I wanted to go back to the story of the backstory of the Golden Cage. So it took me all these years to really understand the meaning that the story had. And it's been an incredible opportunity. I mean, to get to live with a story your whole life and to get to unravel it and untangle it and look at it and see what it was and realize that there were many parts of it that I could not possibly have told at other times in my life. And when you hear the TEDx talk, you'll hear that there were, you know, all the people who played Boris to my Althea, or played Althea to my Boris, or who opened up different parts of the show to me. That happened all along the way. So I wanted to show you that little thing. There's so many other kind of cool stuff that I'd love to show you about the show. So when I first started writing, I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. Okay, cool. All right, so we're getting some links here to support the Golden Cage. That's great. And it would be great to give the RSVP links for people to join, and as well links to actually find it on YouTube as well. So we're streaming it in a lot of different ways tonight. We're streaming it at goldencagemusical.com. We're streaming it at a secret page, which you only get to if you RSVP. We're also having the Zoom meet and greet beforehand. And you can also go directly to YouTube. But the future of this show, now everybody gets to see it on film. And that is amazing. And the film, it's beautiful. The performances are beautiful. And when you look at the film, think about the fact that this was all put together in about, I think it was about 4 weeks. Tala can probably remind me. It was 3 to 4 weeks of rehearsal in New York City at what we thought was going to be after the pandemic, but it turned out to be really the tail end of the pandemic. And we were at a wonderful festival that was put together by a playwright and a producer named Kate Camerata. It's called the CreateTheater New Works Festival. So there was my team, and then there were 6 other teams that were putting together shows. And in the first week that we were there, one of the teams somebody came down with COVID. And my team was just like, no, this is not going to happen to us. And so after that, we were in this tiny little rehearsal room, maybe only twice as big as the studio that I'm in right now. And we were wearing masks all the time. We were testing for COVID every morning. So one of the things I was doing as the producer of the show was buying all these COVID tests, so that everybody could test. And anytime anybody came to work with us, they had to take a COVID test before they came into our room, because we had only this small window of time in which to rehearse the show, in which to get it on stage, in which to get it filmed. And if we lost any of those, then we would not have been able to give it to you to be sharing it with you today. But it all worked out. So, okay, great. 3 weeks. Okay, so we only had 3 weeks of rehearsal. And it was an amazing team. You definitely should go to Golden Cage Musical. In fact, I'm gonna jump in there. Oh, look. Oh, I didn't know that Support the Golden Cage could come up right over what I was doing. That's very cool. I'd like to show you some of the people. Oh, here, wait. Tala's giving me important information. Only 2 weeks of rehearsal and 12 hours of tech. And then we were in front of an audience. It was amazing. And Tala said it was wild, but we were the only group that didn't get a single case of COVID. That's great. Well, we also had a tiny cast. I mean, our cast was 2 people. And we also, you know what? I'm going to take you and show you the cast. And I'm going to show you the cast and the crew. Oh, what? Oh, I'm still screen sharing? Oh, I see what's happening. Got it. Okay, I see how that's working, I think. All right, so I'm going to show you. I see, I'm over here. Okay, all right, I'm showing you. Wait, am I showing you the screen share? Aha, now I'm showing you that. Okay, got it. All right, that's a special thanks, but I want to take you up and show you everybody on the crew in the cast. So here's who you're going to see tonight, who plays Boris. And here's Maddie, who can't be with us tonight because she's on a cruise ship performing. And here was our swing understudy. Now, Katie was really fascinating because she auditioned to be both Boris and Althea, and we hired her to understudy both of the parts. And there was one day when Chris couldn't come, and we got to see Maddie and Katie doing a duet together that was just really spectacular. And it showed me just how powerful it could be to have a different kind of cast doing this show. Although I can't imagine anything better than Chris and Maddie, but working with Katie made me realize there could be many different versions of the show. This is me when my hair was short, which was right before the show. Our amazing director, who just made such creative decisions. It was so exciting to work with her. And our music director, Nevada, I had worked with him before on the show, and I was just hoping against hope that I would get to work with him on this show, and I did, and I was so happy. Tim has been a huge part of this show from the very beginning. I call him my creative facilitator as well as the orchestrator. When you hear the show, we did the show with just solo piano, but you will hear a huge orchestra, and that is all Tim's doing. He was a huge part of having the show. This was the first person I hired. I knew that there was no way I would be able to do this show without Scott. And he really kept me sane throughout the experience. Although I don't know that I kept him sane. I think I definitely tried his patience, but he kept me sane. And this is Tala, who was and is our amazing stage manager. Our assistant stage manager was Emily, and I hope that we'll get to see them as well soon. Tyler did this scenic design, and it was amazing because originally, I'm going to come back over here for a sec. Originally, we thought we were going to be on 2 different levels, and so he created the set in such a way. I mean, these were flying people, so we wanted to be on different levels, and then it just happened that we couldn't do it that way. And when you see the show, I think you're not, it could not have been better. The way that they ended up creating the set and the way that Rebecca did the show, it's just a testament to me that when you have creative, powerful people, they will be even more creative when there's a problem. And that's what certainly happened in this show. All right, let's go back here. We're going to look at, so Evan, you will love, love, love his costume designs. I already talked about those. And you'll see them in the show. Michael, it was great because I remember when I first said to Michael, what do you like about this show? What do you like about this set and these costumes? And he said, I really love how I'm going to be able to, engage with them in terms of lighting. And so it was exciting to see how he did that. These were the last 2 designers who came onto the project, and they're the ones who created the amazing projections that you'll see in the show. And that's what made it possible for us to have certain things that seemed almost impossible. Like there was one part of the show where the feather a red feather has to travel from one place to another place. And I wrote it in the script thinking, well, I don't know, maybe this will be a cartoon. I don't know how this is going to happen. And so we were all like, how is this going to happen? How will this ever happen? And when you see the show, you will see what an incredibly creative solution they came up with for that particular problem. Not problem, that particular, you can call it a problem, you can call it an opportunity. Let's just look again. I had never worked with a casting director before. I had no idea how powerful, meaning how much power this person can bring in how they find potential actors and work with them. And it was just really amazing to work with Cindy and see how she made it possible for us to have this amazing cast that can do what they do in such a short time. We have Daniel here, and you'll see some of his great props and props assistant, Brittany. And a sound engineer, we don't have a picture of him. This is not what he looks like in reality. That's an early drawing of Boris. And then the festival producer, Kate, put all of this together and made it possible that we could actually do that. What we don't have on this page right now, and I'm looking forward to having, is the streaming musicals team, the videographers and editors and photographers and admin people. I mean, it's really amazing what they put together, and we just haven't had to. Oh wait, oh well, this is just one picture of them, but there's just amazing people there. All right, so I wanted to show you that. This is a marathon session here. I'm so happy that there's so many of you still here. This is great. Okay, so yes, Kim is saying both Maddie and Christopher are so amazing in the show, and they truly are. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in just a minute and open up the Zoom room and maybe have a sandwich or something just so that I will be ready, because everything is about to begin. Oh, look, Tala's telling me that it's almost time to go. And so I'm just going to check to see if anything else. And I just want to say, contributions are coming in even as we speak, and it is so beautiful to see that happening. It's so meaningful, because you never know until you get started with something like this, like what all the costs are going to be, and then you're like, oh, there's that too. I mean, like, for example, I don't know how many COVID tests we ended up having. I'm like, it was something like 200 or 300. We got a deal on them, which was great, but still, so it just means a lot. And thank you for everybody who's donating. I'm going to stay on for about 3 more minutes, and then going to jump off and get ready for the other Zoom room and get ready for the show. So are there any final questions that anybody has? You should be able to see all the links up in the post. And if you want to grab that QR, whatever it is, QR code before I jump off of here, this is a good time to do that. That will take you directly. The one up on the upper left will take you directly to the show page where you'll be able to watch the premiere, and the one on the lower right will take you to where you can donate. Okay. I'm going to jump into the command center. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you. This was really fun, and I will let you know if we have additional streaming opportunities. And I hope you enjoyed today's adventure here on these platforms where we have been talking, and I really hope you come and see the show. If you forget everything else, just come to goldencagemusical.com. Golden as in golden, cage as in cage. Hey, check this out. One of the cool things about a harp, not only does it look like wings, but it also, well, if you pull it, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. If you get behind it, it looks like a prison. So it was amazing that it was amazing that I ended up with an instrument that was also both parts, both of these characters. Okay, I think I've told you everything, and so I'm not going to say it again, except for, of course, I am. Okay, all right, everybody. I will see you at the premiere. Hopefully, I will also see you at the Zoom room, and see you very, very soon. I cannot wait. I really can't wait to share this with you. Like, this is a huge moment in my life. It's really huge. And I just want to thank over 2,000 people signed up to RSVP'd. And you have just made me so happy. And I see that still people are signing up. So I just love that I'm going to be able to share this with so many people. And please make sure you tell others. We don't know how long it's going to be up. We're hoping that it'll be up for about at least 24 hours so that you can see the premiere and watch it again. So let your friends know during the premiere, let them know that they can come and watch it. Hopefully, I mean, just tell them during the premiere, just bring them. Okay, I'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Thank you so much. Mwah. See you soon. Now I just end this.